Christmas is the perfect time to add a little bit of glitz and glam to your decorations. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Jess. Normally, I like to do a lot of farmhouse home decor, but today I'm stepping out of my box a little bit and I'm going glam. All right everyone, let's get started. For the first project, I knew I wanted to create sort of a hanging swag to hang on my front door or on the wall. And when I saw that the Dollar Tree had these little mini Christmas trees in white, I knew that that would make the perfect base for a swag. So I started by taking the little plastic knobby piece that's on the end of the tree, because since I'm not actually going to be standing it up, I didn't really need it. And then I pulled all of the branches to one side so that it would sort of form a triangle. I took two of the top branches and I wrapped it around the pull on the end a little bit just to hide that so that you wouldn't see it in the final product. And then I did my best just to fluff out the branches, and then that top branch, which is now going to be the bottom of the swag, I just looped over until I got everything else on there, and then I could figure out what to do with that later. So the inspiration for this swag came from an ornament that I found at the Dollar Tree. It's a little Santa Claus, and I'll be showing that to you a little bit later. And I found this really pretty ribbon at Dollar Tree too. It has kind of an off-white background with some white poinsettias on it, and then it has a little bit of a gold trim, and I thought that would look really pretty. So I wanted to kind of swag the ribbon down through the front of the Christmas tree, and I took some white pipe cleaners and I'm just twisting those around, and then I'm going to use the pipe cleaners to attach most of the things to the swag. That way I'm not really using too much hot glue. So once I had the ribbon twisted onto the top of the swag, then I just kind of billowed it out, and then I would use another piece of the pipe cleaner to attach it down the center. This way it kind of hid that metal pole that runs down through the center of the tree, and it gave it a little bit more dimension. Once I had the ribbon down the front of the tree, then I started gathering up some of the gold items that I had in my stash. So I had some of these cedar picks that they have out at the Dollar Tree this year, and I decided to lay those in as a base and to add a little bit more sparkle. And then I also have some muted gold bulbs that I actually got at the Dollar Tree last year, but I did see that they have them again this year. So I started by adding the cedar picks in first, and what's nice about these is they kind of fill in the gaps between the branches on the Christmas tree, because these trees are just a little bit chintzy. But there's ways that you can make them look a little bit more high end. And then the Dollar Tree also had these really pretty, I think they're calling them eucalyptus picks. They kind of have that eucalyptus leaf shape, but they're metallic. They had them in gold and silver and a white color, and I thought that would be nice as a filler as well. When I'm laying down a base like this for a piece, whether it's a swag or a wreath, I always lay the things in first, but I don't attach them. That way I get a better idea of where I need to add more things. And then once I have everything in place, that's whenever I go back through with my pipe cleaners or floral wire or whatever I'm using that day to make sure that everything is secure. Next, I took these gold ornaments, and I'm using the pipe cleaners again, and I just fished them through the top of the ornaments, and I figured out where I wanted them to be on the swag, and I just used the pipe cleaners to twist them around either that metal pole that was in the center or around some of those branches. And I didn't want the ornaments to exactly be lined up, and I only put 3 of them on because I didn't want this to get overcrowded. I thought it was starting to look just a little bit busy with the picks that I had in there, but I needed something in there to help build it up outward a little bit, so that's why I put the little balls on next. I wanted a really big bow for the top of this swag, so I used some more of that poinsettia ribbon from the Dollar Tree and some sheer gold ribbon that I already had on hand. And I created a pretty large bow, and it has a lot of loops to it. I think I did 3 loops on each side with both of the colors, and I made it pretty wide. I wanted it to be about as wide as the span of the top of the swag. And I just attached that with another set of pipe cleaners, and then I made sure to dovetail the ends of all the ribbons as well. This little white and gold Santa ornament that I found at the Dollar Tree was so pretty, and like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is what kind of inspired this entire swag, because I knew I wanted the Santa as the center. He had a little leaf on his hat, which was cute, but since I didn't have any other colors on this swag, I decided to cut the leaf off, and then I just made a simple shoestring bow out of some gold ribbon that I had, and I glued that onto his hat instead. And what's nice about his hat is that it actually had a wire in it, so I could kind of bend the hat in the direction that I wanted so that it would fit better on the swag. To attach the Santa, I just took the back side of his hat and I cut 2 little notches in it, and that way I was able to fish through a pipe cleaner, and then I could attach it right to the swag using that same pipe cleaner. This second project is really simple. I found these really cool glitter iron-on transfer sheets at the Dollar Tree, and I also found these really pretty placemats. They're a white and they have a real subtle snowflake pattern to them, and I thought that this would make a really pretty accent pillow. So I started by taking some hot glue. Now I'm just using the Gorilla Glue sticks, and I'm gluing the whole way around the edges of the pillow. But on this end, I'm leaving about a 3-inch gap in the center. That way I'll have some space that I can add my pillow stuffing to. Now what's great about these glitter iron-on sheets from the Dollar Tree is that if you don't have a cutting machine like a Cricut, you can just hand draw a design on them and cut them out yourself, and then just use a regular iron to iron the design on. But because I do have a Cricut, I decided to use mine to cut out a snowflake so that I could add a really big snowflake to the front of this pillow. The glitter transfer sheet has directions on it so that you can follow that, so you know how hot you need to have your iron and how long you need to iron it for. Anytime that I'm doing an iron-on like this, I always like to wash my fabrics first, and I usually wash them in just regular detergent, but I don't use any fabric softener, and then when I dry them, I don't use any dryer sheets. That way there's no chance that there's going to be any kind of buildup in there that's going to inhibit the transfer from sticking. So since I have an easy press, I set mine to 340 degrees, and I just held it on for 30 seconds, and then I flipped it over and I did it for another 15 on the back. And then once the plastic on the top of the snowflake was cool to the touch, then I was able to peel it off. I've made quite a few pillows before using the placemats from the Dollar Tree or using the throw rugs that they sell at the Dollar Tree too. And I always have good luck just using hot glue on mine because they're always more for decoration, not actually to be used. So to clean them, I usually do put them in the washer. I mean, I've had good luck washing the Gorilla Glue sticks and everything's held up fine. I do use cold water though, and then I don't put them in the dryer, and they've stayed sealed shut, and I've washed some of the ones that I have quite a few times. Now, I could only find one of the silver glitter sheets at my Dollar Tree, so I only made one pillow with a big snowflake on it, but then I did make a second pillow and I didn't put anything on it, and it was just as pretty because the print on these is so nice. So once I had my pillow stuffed to how I like it, then all I had to do was seal it up with a little bit more hot glue. Okay, so for the last project, I wanted to create a centerpiece for my coffee table. I love that the Dollar Tree has these really cool trays out. They always have different ones. I liked that this one was just kind of plain. It had a little bit of a brush stroke look to it. Some of the trays have little like knobby dots running around the outside, which are pretty too, but I like that this one was kind of plain. And I wanted to keep this pretty simple. So for the center, I just hot glued a piece of floral foam down first, and then I found these really pretty picks from Michaels, and they were $2.99, but I got them at 40% off, so I thought they were a pretty good deal. And I really liked these ones because they had a lot of different elements to them. They have the little cardinal, they have some pine cones, some little white snow-covered pines, some different greenery. I think whenever you can find floral picks like that that have a lot of different things on them, it makes it a lot easier to decorate. So once I had those floral picks stuck in the floral foam, I measured my little glass container that I was going to put in the center to make sure that it was going to fit in between those two. And then I was a little bit worried that you would still be able to see the floral foam even though I was going to add a few more things. So I decided to cover both sides with just some white shimmery ribbon. Then I just started adding little things that I thought would look nice around both sides. I had these berry picks in my stash. I'm pretty sure these came from the Dollar Tree last year, but they always have different versions of these out every year. And I like that these ones did have a little bit of glitter on them just to make them a little bit more glitzy. Now, the reason I stuck the floral foam in the center first is because my container was a little bit shorter and I wanted it to stand up a little bit taller. But if you were using a bigger glass container, like one of the taller cylinder shaped ones from the Dollar Tree, you probably wouldn't have to put that floral foam down first. And I never do actually glue the glass container onto the floral foam because hot glue and glass never seemed to mix well. I knew it wouldn't really hold, and since this was a centerpiece, it wasn't something that was going to be moved around a lot or anything like that. I didn't feel the need to glue that into place. So I just kept decorating everything until I was satisfied with how full looking it was and how I had a good mix of greens and reds and whites and all kinds of sparkly things. And then I picked which side I liked the best, and I decided to use that as my front side, and I just added a simple red bow. Well, I did it. I stepped out of my farmhouse box and I glammed things up a little bit. You'll have to let me know in the comments, do you like to add a little bit of sparkle and glam to your holidays? Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell, do all the things. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.